Thank you. So, welcome. It's good to see you all again. Get to talk to you about all the different voices that you do portray in different series. But why don't we first start off with introducing yourselves and talking about some of the characters that we may know you from.
Okay. Hi, I'm Alexis Tipton. Oh my gosh,
the
that's
graphic
us.
is really good. Oh wow, look at that.
Super high quality. I'm Alexis Tipton. I am a Hatsume in My Hero, and I also, you may have heard me in shows like I voice Kaguya-sama in Kaguya-sama Love is War. I am also Kid Trunks in Dragon Ball. Lucina in Fire Emblem, Mocha in Rosario Vampire, Reze in Chainsaw Man, and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, and I'm also an ADR director for anime and video games.
Yeah, Alexis Tipton. All right.
And a really good one.
Hi guys, my name is Dawn M. Bennett. I am Setsuna Tokage in My Hero Academia. I'm also Aegis from Persona 3 Reload, Shez from Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, and Kale from Dragon Ball Super. So, hey.
Yeah. All right. And last but not least.
Hello, Stephanie Young. I voice Nana Shimura in My Hero Academia. I love it. They've got the smile face up there. I love her. I also voice Nico Robin in One Piece. I voice Olivia Armstrong in FMA Brotherhood. I know it's a throwback, but I voice a lot of strong female characters, Rachne Claire, and been directed by this one and this one. Didn't you direct the singing in Zombieland Saga? Yes. For those that know that show, the girl idol band out of zombies.
Wow.
Because that's how we roll. And we got to sing lots of stuff together. So anyway, so happy to be here. Love Oklahoma. And is this complex new, or is it just the hotel that's new?
It feels like very new.
It feels very shiny.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Only a couple years old, you said?
Okay, it feels like you can. We go to a lot of conventions, right? It's like, oh, this is lovely, OKC. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so it's great to be here, and of course, great to share the stage with you all three. Get to ask you questions about some of the things that you do. Now, you did mention that all three of you are directors. I wanted to ask, how much of a role does it play in being a voice actor versus a director? And do you find it easier to be a director having voice acted before?
I was talking to someone about this earlier at my table. I feel like being an actor makes me a better director, and being a director makes me a better actor. Like, they definitely feed into each other. And I always kind of half-jokingly say that directing always kind of scratches a different part of my brain. You know, it's still a creative process, but it is more logical than sometimes the acting stuff is. More administrative, more right-brained, if you will, but still creative at the end of the day. And it's what I think is really fun about it too is that because when we do voiceover, most of the time we work alone. We record solo, and so you don't really get to see how other actors work. And then when you're a director, you get to see how lots of different actors work. And I learn a lot by watching other actors as well. And so yeah, it's just a really cool way to enrich both jobs, if that makes sense.
No, totally. It's like one hand washes the other.
Yeah. And I also think, I might be biased because I've worked with so many people that are like this, but I think to be a really good director, I mean, not that you have to be this way, but I feel like the best directors that I've personally ever worked with were also actors. Because
Absolutely.
they know how to talk to actors, they know how to relay what they want from an actor in a way that an actor can more easily understand and like take on. And I just feel like the communication between actor and director is so much more seamless when that experience is had by both, if that makes sense.
No, totally. Yeah, Stephanie, you said you agree. Could you give perhaps some insight from your own perspective?
Oh, just, the way we communicate with each other. When someone's been an actor, maybe you're getting what they're saying, maybe you're not getting what they're saying, and then they have ways of adjusting that. It's funny how sometimes you have your own language with certain directors, and you just kind of understand, and you get each other, and it may not make logical sense, and I can't think of an example off the top of my head, sorry. But it's just this energy, and I feel like we've had some directors that maybe weren't actors at first, but then they were directing, and then they started acting after they were directing. It's just good to know what it's like, I think, to be on the other end. And like Alexis said, you don't have to do that, but it helps. It just helps being more, informed. And I have not directed anime. I have directed. I've done theater. I've done film and reality television.
Oh, wow.
We can talk HGTV, but I know it's not this panel. We'll talk drapes later, people. But, when you've got actors directing, I have been directed by them. and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like the people in our community, I mean, it's a great group of people. You know, I think this art, this niche, you know, in anime and gaming and animated properties, it just draws really cool people.
Right.
For the most part.
I think everyone who I've met so far has been very cool, very open, very inviting, and super talented. Like some of the people you get to work with, I'm sure, must blow your mind sometimes. Who are some of the people who inspired you to get into voice acting? If you have any particular inspiration, we'll start with you, Dawn.
Oh, I mean, like, why I got into it in the first place is because when I was a child, I wanted to be a Pokemon.
Well, yeah.
I wanted to be Pikachu.
You.
Oh my
I wanted to be
That was
Pikachu
so
bad.
good.
That was really
Will
good.
you call my children?
Oh gosh, but obviously that job has long since been taken. That lady's voice, like if you ever watch an interview with the voice of Pikachu in Japan, like she talks that high. She's like, hajime mashite. I'm like, that's amazing.
Right.
But yeah, when I was a kid, I read a Pokemon magazine. I think it was called Beckett Pokemon, which I don't think exists anymore. And it was an interview with Veronica Taylor, who was the first voice of Ash Ketchum. And that blew my mind as a child. I go, whoa, wait, this is a job, like a real job you could have? Also, Ash is voiced by a woman? Like, freaked me out. But when I told my mom at the time, because she didn't know what voice acting was, she was like, oh, that doesn't sound lucrative. Go be a nurse. So I went to not medical school. I went to music school.
Nice.
And that's
Solid.
yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, like definitely Veronica Taylor was a big inspiration. And then later on, as like, you know, even when I started voice acting, Fred Tatasciore became a huge inspiration for me. I don't know who all here has seen Dragon Ball, but my character, Kale, she's this tiny little girl who hulks out. And Fred Tatasciore was my inspiration for that character.
That's amazing.
I have told him since, and he approved, and I'm like, I can ascend now.
Yes.
So.
That must feel so great to get the validation from your idol, so to
Absolutely.
speak. Anyone else want to take the same question?
Oh gosh, I always knew I wanted to be an actor, but like voice acting kind of, it wasn't something that I set out to do. It was just, oh, I'm an actor, and like this is just sort of the path that took.
So
but
did you started in traditional like screen?
theater,
and
yeah, theater,
Oh,
and then
okay.
I actually thought, I thought I wanted to be an on-camera voice actress, an on-camera actor for a very, very long time, and I did try my hand at that and just realized it wasn't for me. But I always knew I wanted to act in some capacity, and then I was lucky enough for it to lead to voice acting, and I've just loved every minute of it. But it was kind of interesting though, because looking back, it was like, even though I didn't set out with that goal initially, Robin Williams was like my biggest inspiration as a kid, because, you know, he was always pulling out references and voices, and like I loved him as the genie in Aladdin, and I just like thought he was so much fun. And so I definitely feel like he's the inspiration, because I was constantly like quoting stuff as a kid, much to the chagrin of my family, and I would not shut up as a child. Sorry, Mom. But
Hey, it became a career.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
You
At
may
least
have-
it led to something. But
Yeah.
he was I would say he was kind of the one that inspired me to like play with my voice, and I loved how he was always, you know, referencing things and quoting things, and I did that so much as a child, and so that kind of helped me learn, unbeknownst to me until much later, learn about my instrument, so to speak. And yeah, and I love the energy he brought to everything he did, and I just thought that was so much fun, and I'm so sad I never got to tell him.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely. With that
Yeah.
role as a genie, you know, he did so many different voices and inflections and impersonations, and he was one of the best, if not the best, comedian and
Well, just
improv.
fearless with it.
And yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
fearless. There was no fear to that man. Absolutely.
Yeah, and just such an inspiration. And yeah, a lot of like on-camera actors really inspired me, and just to learn about acting and to learn about just acting in general, and like
Right.
seeing where that took me. But yeah, a lot of really inspiring people out there.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and that's one of the things that I always learn. And when I'm speaking with different voice actors, one of the main things that they always say when they're asked the question is, how do I get into voice acting? It's voice acting is acting. You know, and you know, if you can reflect on that a little bit, Stephanie.
Sure.
You know, when it comes to taking the words on a page and actually bringing them to life, how much does acting actually play a role into that?
Yeah, it's all of it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people will come up to us and say, oh, I can sound just like so-and-so, which is something to be said, all
Yeah.
right? That's a skill. But when it comes down to you working as an actor, it needs to be acting. I also did not pursue voice acting, but I'm so glad we found each other. I could get tear. I love these people. Just getting to work with them and to come to things like this with you.
Yeah.
And I started out political science in college. I was going to be a lawyer. Yeah, I know. And then I slowly made my way into the theater department and was so happy there, but it just seemed so crazy to do. I'm like, well, I'm going to get my degree in theater, but I'm going to be a lawyer because that's what I should do. And then I graduated and was like, I don't want to be a lawyer. I really like acting. And did theater and on camera and commercial voiceover, obviously very different. But my agent said, do you want to audition for, at the time, Funimation, which is now Crunchyroll. I think everybody knows that. And I said, what's that? And then I went in and auditioned. It was like, oh, the theater kid in me, as we know, was so happy because the characters were the big highs and lows, and it wasn't like being, reality, not reality TV, but, realistic acting or, just these amazing stories. I loved Greek theater. I feel like this is like Greek theater with a lot of these shows, right? Dragon Ball. But and then, again, I'm all about community and people and just with who we get to work with is so great. And the stories are so creative. That's like anime fans are smart people because these storylines are complicated. And some of like One Piece goes on forever and you have to know a lot. Or you don't have to, but it's good when you do. So I don't know. When I got in it, I didn't want to leave. And then it was just so wonderful and freeing as an actor to be able to voice all these, different characters, But just, yeah, I'm sorry, I went totally off your question. But acting, you need to be an actor.
Yes.
And you might find that when you study that, you might be involved in other forms of acting. And like, they said that all these different creative forms, acting, music, singing, writing, they all work together. And they make each discipline better, right?
I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. It's, again, the one hand washing the other. The more you improve in other areas or realms, it can only bleed into and help levitate or rise up the other skills and talents that you have. We do have a microphone there. If you want to start lining up now, go ahead and do so. We're going to please keep it to one question per person. Please no A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z style questions. And again, I'll be the bad guy to cut the line off when we do run out of time. So if you don't get to ask your question during this panel, we kindly ask that you visit them at their table. They'll be here all weekend, and you can go ahead and ask your question. So again, you don't have to just keep it to My Hero Academia. You can ask questions about voice acting in general or about many of the other roles that they play. And again, we'll try to get as many as we can in the time allotted. And again, thank you so much for being here with us. I appreciate that. Of course. All right, hi, what's your name and what's your question?
My name is Cole Placencia. By the way, before I start my question, Alexis, I totally relate to, like quoting all these references to the detriment of my family. It's a thing of mine. Anyways.
I feel it.
But anyways, My Hero Academia has a lot of very unique designs and, looks and everything. And my question to all you guys is, who would you say is in your opinion, is the most well-designed, best-looking character?
Just looking.
I don't think I've ever heard that question on a My Hero
There's
panel.
a new
That's
one.
That's a good one.
Good start.
Oh, I got to run through the roster in my head. There's so many characters.
I was going to say, like, the first three that come to mind are Dobby, Hawks, Bakugo.
Yeah.
I like Bakugo's design.
I might be a little partial, but I think Mei Hatsume's hair is really unique. I have never seen that in another show, and I love seeing cosplays of her because everyone kind of has a different interpretation of what the hair's doing, and they all work. I've seen curls, I've seen dreadlocks, I've seen like the rave kind of wig with like I don't know what you call that, but that very like dystopian look. I've seen someone took batting and made like tubes out of it. Her hair kind of looks like a sea creature, and I'm here for it. But like it's so unique and interesting, and it's always so cool to see how people tackle that with cosplay. Yeah, Endeavor's got kind of a cool look, like with the fire mustache.
I do like the fire mustache.
Do you have an opinion on that? Do you have a favorite one?
That is a good question. I do agree, like with the fire mustache, El Flamo.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I feel like I have to say All Might. I don't know why I would want to say that, but it's got to be All Might, right?
I would probably have to say All Might as well, mostly because it does have a heavy reference to Superman, and Superman being one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
And, his character archetype is very similar, the aspirational archetype. And,
Love that.
being like one of the basically the heart and souls of, that universe. Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question.
I was going to say, I did have a question about Todoroki. Is his design like an homage to Zuko? I'm just wondering.
Anyone?
You might have a point there.
Yay!
The crowd says yes.
Where's Dante Bosco? Let's ask him.
All right, so if you grab that centerpiece of the microphone and just squeeze it, and it'll pull straight up. There's like a handle. Yeah, right there in your left hand. Now squeeze it. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right. Hi.
Okay.
What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Demeter. My question is, if you could have any quirk from the My Hero universe, what would it be and why?
It has to be from the My Hero universe. Oh gosh. Again, I'm trying to remember everybody's quirks.
All the quirks.
All the quirks.
There's
oh my
so
gosh.
I like hawks. I want to be a bird man.
Want to be
Is it bad to want your own? I mean, I would take mine. I would love to fly anyway and float and do all the things and have all the power, but it would be helpful.
Yeah?
Seriously.
The Todoroki thing's cool because he can do like two different kinds of, elemental stuff. I like, choices.
I like choices.
Choices are nice. I don't like feeling limited by just one thing. The whole icy hot thing would be cool.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your question. Hi. And right in the middle, you can go ahead and, no, on the mic stand, right there, squeeze it and pull it on down.
What's up, Zenitsu?
There we go.
Oh, Zenitsu's here. Don't start yelling at us. Hi.
Yeah, don't yell at me. It'll make me nervous. Okay, hi. I just want to say I love you guys. I've been watching My Hero Academia since it came out, and it's just amazing. However, I do have one question for Hatsume. So, what's your thing with Deku? Because every time he comes in a room, he's like face first in your chest.
Okay, here's my thing. I've had so many interesting conversations about Hatsume with people at different cons, and it's really expanded my interpretation of her, and it's really cool. Here's my thing with Hatsume. A lot of people think like she has a thing for Deku. I definitely agree that she likes him, she respects him, she's excited whenever he comes around, she loves making, babies for him. In that context, it sounds weird, but her inventions. And but here's the thing: I don't think Hatsume is very socially aware. In fact, I've had some very interesting conversations with people that there's sort of this. It's not canon, but this fan theory that I totally subscribe to that Hatsume is on the spectrum, and I think that's really cool. And so that she just does whatever, she's feeling in the moment and maybe doesn't fully understand like the social implication. So when she's like falling on top of him and stuff, I don't necessarily think she's like trying to hit on him. It's just like, oh, I just happened to fall on top of you, heyo. And that, Deku's freaking out because he's a gentleman. And then of course it's like a moment of comedy, especially if like Ochako's nearby. But I think that she likes Deku as a friend, but I don't think like romantic feelings are on her agenda because she's got too much to do. Like she's got too many babies to work on. She's got too many ideas. She's got to secure funding for all her stuff. Like she's a busy girl. So yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of my theory, but I do think she thinks the world of Deku, and I think she definitely wants him to succeed, and she definitely wants credit for helping him to succeed. So anytime he shows up and wants a new gadget from her is a good day. So, but that's just me. Do you have any opinions on that?
I think their relationship is really respectable. I love that
Yes.
she's always trying to promote herself through them,
Yes.
especially during the. What is it?
Oh, the sports festival?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
sports festival. I found that very interesting. Like, her personality really popped. She's definitely one of my supporting class characters.
Well, and that she knew what she was about from day one. It's like,
Yeah.
I just want people to notice me. Okay, they notice me. Yep, bye, I'm out. Like, it's like she knows exactly what she wants and how to get there. And I really appreciate that about her. I think she's really cool for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for your question. Thank you. Hi. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name's Selena, and my question is, since you've been acting, what would you say is your favorite scene? This is to all of you.
Oh, in My Hero specifically?
Yeah. Or like any anime that you want to choose from.
So your favorite scene that you voiced in any anime that you've ever done?
That scene specifically.
That's my blue screen face. There's so many. I mean, we've all been so lucky to be a part of so many shows that have like really good stuff in them. Oh man, I feel like I
got
gotta
one.
go for it, please.
I mean, definitely. Well, for My Hero, definitely that first big moment with All Might that she has and passing along, and then the other was, I mean, it was very dramatic when she has that scene where she lets her child go to protect, when Nana is protecting her child. And I'll just never forget, I was being directed by Colleen, who's amazing, during the pandemic when everybody was locked inside their homes. And we both have children, and there was a real moment working on that scene together. Just being able to connect with somebody was really special because we were all home. And I think when we were being directed on our shows, it was such a lifeline, right? Even though it was a traumatic scene. So in My Hero, it would be that. And in all of other anime, it would have to be, for Nico Robin in One Piece, her I Want to Live line. If you know the show, that was one of the best moments of my career, and I don't know if it'll ever get better than that one.
That was a heavy moment, yeah, for sure.
But it led to such goodness, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
The valley before you get out. Say it. Can't do it. You just got to watch it. That was a one-time thing, and luckily we got it in one take.
Oh my god. I asked about the many animes because of my parents. They watch One Piece. I've seen not a lot of One Piece.
Okay.
So that's why I asked any anime that you voiced in.
That worked out for your mom. Yeah. Thank you.
She's recording it for my dad.
Oh.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Oh man.
Well with this one.
Yes. In My Hero for Hatsume, she has so many, like every time she comes in, it's funny. She doesn't really have any serious scenes. The sports festival is really fun, but I think what I love even more than that is when she sees Ida again for the first time after the sports festival and she doesn't remember what she put him through. And he's like going off about like, I'm this guy and this is what you did to me and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, never heard of ya. And then just like walks off. That was great. That was so much fun. Yeah, and then, gosh, I mean, you said like a heavy thing, so I feel like, because the heavy stuff is really rewarding. So the first thing that came to my mind was I played a character named Kaguri in Steins Gate Zero, which if you've never gotten into the Steins Gate thing, you should. It's a fantastic franchise. It will have you really scratching your head at times, but just go with it. It's a very complex show, but it's so rewarding. But Kaguri has a thing where, well, she's an amnesiac, and so like that's kind of the main thing kind of going on in Steins Gate Zero is like we have to figure out like who Kaguri is, where did she come from, and because that entire show deals a lot with like time jumping and alternate dimensions, there's a lot of stuff going on with that, and no spoilers, but she has this moment where she realizes that somebody in this current timeline is somebody that was very important to her in another timeline, and because they're in a different timeline, their relationship has changed, but she still remembers her from that previous timeline, and it was someone who was like very, 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 very close to her, and it was like kind of a traumatic, their parting was a traumatic thing. And she has like a full-on breakdown when she realizes it, and not to get like too personal or too heavy, but I was going through some stuff when we recorded on that, and it was like, if you listen to it and there's a lot of crying, that was all very real. It was a massive breakdown in the booth, and it was very cathartic, and it's a beautiful scene. And it just filled me with so many emotions and just really, it sounds weird, but just made me feel thoroughly human. When you're able to interact with material like that, it's really wonderful. And I luckily had a director that was, which is another reason this experience stands out to me, that just really took really good care of me during that. Like, it gave me a really safe space for that. And after it was over, it was like, we, meaning him and the engineer, we're gonna leave you alone for like 10 minutes. If you need a hug, if you need this, if you need water, whatever we can do. There was almost like aftercare, like with working on that scene, which was really nice. And it's really beautiful when you feel like you can tell a story like that. So that was really profound for me.
Yeah, I'm sure being able to draw from those raw emotions
Oh,
led to a
yeah.
more authentic
And
portrayal of the character.
having a place to release them.
Of course, yeah.
Where I didn't necessarily have to release them with a direct line to the pain I was feeling, but it was like I can release this and help tell someone else's story, which is, I mean, that's part of one of the many reasons being an actor is so wonderful.
So you like connected to your character.
Yes,
You felt
absolutely.
the pain that your character felt.
Absolutely, and it wasn't a 1-to-1 ratio, but it was. You can dig inside yourself when things like that happen and find ways to like pull from the same well, even if the circumstances are different. And it's just really something when you're able to when you're given an opportunity to do that. And so I was just very grateful for that.
And yeah, Dawn.
Oh, goodness gracious, guys.
Sorry, maybe you can bring it up. Let's bring
Sorry,
it up
I
a notch.
mean-
You got some comedy in there,
I
Dawn?
thought of a thing, but okay, I got some comedy in there.
Give us some comedy for Friday night.
Okay. All right. So, like in My Hero, my favorite scene was my one fight scene against Bakugo, where he beat me. But I guess like I don't know, because I was gonna go with like another downer scene.
Do it. No, we're talking about
gosh.
acting and our love of
Okay.
acting. Do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
first one will be short.
Juicy.
This one isn't anime specifically, but I was in a game called Diablo 4. Do you guys know Diablo 4? No. Okay,
Yeah.
rad.
They're all about it.
I was in Diablo 4. I got to be in like this creature monster group with a bunch of people, including Fred Tatasciore, which freaked me out so bad. It was so cool. But Deborah Wilson was also there, who is an acting extraordinaire, and we were playing tortured souls in hell, and so we had to provide atmospheric voices. So if you play the game, like any of the background like screams and all that, that's us. Deborah's like, I'm gonna go first. And she just starts wailing into the mic, and I don't know what she was channeling, but she was like in pain, and like sobbing and at the mic, and Misty Lee had to come up and be like, just let her do her thing, and then come up and be like, okay, you're good, you're safe, like you're done. And she set the precedent for the rest of us.
Oh,
And I was like, oh
man.
boy. So Fred goes up, does his thing, is freaking amazing. And I'm like, well, guess I'll go now. And it was so weird. It's when you're in that moment, suddenly, oh, there weren't people around me anymore. It was, I am summoning, which you have to do this healthily, by the way, but I am summoning my own inner trauma into this microphone. And then time just kind of stopped while I'm screaming into this thing, tears streaming from my face. And then same thing, Misty Lee comes up behind me and she's like, that came from a place, didn't it? And I'm like, well, I wasn't expecting this today. Cool. But yeah, that was, even though we didn't have any lines per se, that was one of my favorite acting moments. On a lighter note, when I was in Fairy Tale, I play Frosh in Fairy Tale. Yes, the little guy. And there's a episode where Frosh gets lost. And the episode itself, awesome. Had so much fun with that. I got lost going home. Do you guys remember
Art
when
imitates life.
Do you guys remember when Flower Mound had all that construction? Yep. Oh, yeah. I didn't know where to go, and my GPS didn't either, so I was just like, well, if it's dark.
Didn't know.
No.
Oh.
So I got lost going home after my Frosh episode.
Oh my God. That is hilarious. You know, it's funny though when it kind of carries over. Just quickly, I was Claire in Claymore, and the best thing about being a female warrior that's constantly monstering out and going, just letting it out. It was during the year I was getting married, and wedding is great. I love my husband. We're still together, but weddings can be stressful sometimes. And I wasn't a bridezilla or anything, but I remember I would just work it out in the booth as a monster, as Claire, do you want chicken? What color napkins? Ah! I would rather direct Shakespeare than pick out napkins, okay? It's funny, and that's why I laugh that I worked for HGTV. They don't know. But anyway, it's interesting how it can be therapeutic in the booth on multiple reasons, and how actors will go to the deepest, darkest places and be vulnerable and let that happen, and it feels very alive.
And
Very
then
healing.
it's funny too, because it's your director's like, wow, that was a great take. And I'm like, thank you for paying me for this therapy session. Little did you know.
I love that.
Free therapy, yeah.
Just become an actor.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your question.
You're welcome.
All right, so we have about 10 minutes left, so I kindly ask no new additions to the line, and we will try to get through as many questions as we can. I think we'll be able to do it. Yeah, lightning round.
Hi, I'm Ben. And make this pretty simple. I know most of you guys probably don't intentionally do a bunch of research to your characters, probably because there's a ton of different characters. I wouldn't expect you to do a deep dive on each one of them. When you guys are cast into a character role, do you do any additional reading? Like, for My Hero has several omakes where they'll, like, Horikoshi will release additional information about them. Do you guys read up on any of that, or do you guys just get the character packet and go, all right, this is what we're doing?
I have this, unless there's like different circumstances, which have happened a couple of times, it's my personal policy that I don't like to read ahead because I like to discover things with my character. Okay. And so then it's new information. And I also, when I'm directing, I discourage my actors from reading ahead because if you know what's happening, especially if it's something really intense, the human nature response is you try to rehearse it and you just never know like what your director's going to want, or you don't know like how it's going to be animated. Maybe it won't be the exact same as what's in the manga or whatever the source material is. So I personally love just going in clean slate, clean mind, what does you call that? Beginner's mind. And like not knowing what's going to happen, because then if my character's like shocked by something, then that's genuine because I don't know what's happening. So I just feel like that kind of lends itself better to the performance, but not everyone feels that way. That's just me personally.
Same.
Yeah, I'd say same.
Same.
It's gonna be like, wait, we get character packets?
Yeah, the character packet is verbal and it's the director telling you what to do.
Oh, yep. Trust your director. Yep.
Okay,
All right.
my name is Rachel, and this is specifically for the voice actor of Mocha.
Hi.
Do you think that the male main character was a monster?
Like figuratively or literally?
I would guess both, because he was allowed to pass through the border, and I don't think that's by accident.
Oh, that's a very good point.
He was
Because
never allowed to
I
leave.
do know what happens in the manga later that didn't happen in the anime. I don't think he is, because he does become a, sorry, spoilers on your brother. He does become a monster in the manga, and so if he already was one, then I don't know how he could become something else. But I also don't know how that works in the mechanics of that world. But that is a good point, though. I've never thought about that. Because they paint it as though it's just like a
Just
true
by
accident. But
there's
you're
no way that he could have just...
oh, that's going to be bouncing around in my head for a while. Oh, yeah. Thanks for that. I won't be
thanks.
able to sleep now.
Put on the forums, find out.
All right. Hi.
My name is Jay, and I'm just wondering, is there any like character traits, or no pun intended here, quirks that like you just carry into your personal life, or just like a certain trait for a character just kind of follows you and you just don't even realize it?
Yeah, I constantly get lost. Constantly. No, you joke. Like my friend Ed Bosco makes fun of me for this constantly. He's like, dude, you need a GPS for places 5 minutes from your house. Like, yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm scared.
You know, and I think sometimes when we have similarities to characters, not that you have to, you do not, but it bleeds over. And I mean, with Nana, I just think the mothering, the teacher, all of that is something similar in some ways. And she's just trying, right? She is trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
All right, Sugar Rocky did not work out. But she's trying. And so I feel like I'm trying.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, definitely like different archetypes and stuff like that definitely makes itself, it definitely crosses over into real life. But I'm also just, when I'm in like a setting with people that I trust and know really well, I am just an idiot. Like I am.
You're delightful.
I am so quirky. I am so off the wall sometimes. I'm just ask my boyfriend. Like I do the most random stuff around the house. So I'm sure there's some crossover there with like quirky stuff.
I love it.
That makes sense. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Come on up. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name's Shay, and I was just going to ask for Stephanie Young. With both characters, Nana and Robin, at least the two that I have watched, I'm sorry if I don't know any others, but those are the main two that I do know. Are you getting excited for one or the other a little more, considering One Piece is now getting into the full subtitle and they're able to fully voice it over? And now that they're getting to the end, Robin should be used up a little more, where she could talk more.
Good
Same with
question.
Nana.
Right. And I don't know what will happen with Nana. I would sure love to see more of her.
I do.
And her backstory made into a movie. But with Robin, yeah, just being an egghead is very exciting. After the big Demonio Floor battle in Wano, that was thrilling.
Yes,
and it's just, we don't know where this is all going, but it sure is an adventure, and I'm just excited to be along for the ride.
Thank you
Very excited.
much. Just very excited to see.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, step on up. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Wilson Martin. I was just really wondering, do you guys have a hard time on the Q&A sometimes with certain questions and just certain answers in general? Like, is it rough sometimes?
You mean from like a nerve standpoint, or from like
from,
oh gosh.
from your guys' standpoint, really.
I mean, I think all of us have like live performance background, so that, I mean, like being in front of people,
Yeah.
I don't think is like a super big deal. And I mean, 99.9999% of the time, you all ask like awesome questions, and that like aren't like weird or uncomfortable. So, we don't have to be like afraid of what you guys are going to ask us. But yeah, it's just, and I don't know, I like to think not just the three of us, but everybody that we go to these cons with, like we just sort of, like we're sitting on couches, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It just kind of
nice.
feels like you're all in our living room.
Yeah.
We just happen to have a microphone, it feels very like personable and,
And when a host makes it feel that way, it
Yes.
helps,
Thank
like
you.
you do.
Thank you.
Love talking to you. The only time when I get, which now I know, when I first started this, if someone was like, especially with One Piece, in episode 632, how did you feel about Bobbity Bobbity Boo? And I'll be like, oh man, I don't know. Tell me what's happening, because I don't know the number. Yeah. Right? It's a lot.
But yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's definitely easier being on like a group Q&A too versus like one by yourself.
But it's also nice because it's like, whether you're by yourself or not, I mean, it's also, it boosts confidence to be like, well, you all are here because you thought you wanted to hear what we had to say, so that does help. It's like we're not in a room trying to sell you something or convince you of something. Like, you came here because you wanted to talk with us about whatever the panel happens to be about. So that's always nice too. We always know we're walking into a welcoming environment of people that wanted to be here. So we appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you.
Great question. Thank you. All right, our last two questions. Go ahead. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Jackson Cochran.
That's
and
a lie. Your name is Deadpool.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my gosh.
So this question goes directly to Dawn.
Hi.
So basically, what's funny about that is when I first basically found your name in something, I then just started seeing your name in all sorts of stuff and whatnot. But that first thing is actually what brings my question up, which is, if it ever got brought up into like being made, would you be possibly interested in a Freedom Planet sequel?
Oh my God, of course. Well, Freedom Planet 3 then, because you played 2, right?
Basically, I played the first one, I watched a video on the second one, but I'm planning on playing the second one. So I know the whole storyline so far.
Awesome. Yeah. If Sabrina wants to make a third one, I am absolutely down to come back for it. Without question.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
All right, and our final question. Hi.
Hi. We did it. My name is Taj.
Hi.
What is your favorite movies? Like, what movies are your favorite?
Favorite movies. Good
I
question to
love
end on, too.
movies. Oh my gosh. I have so many favorite ones.
Anime movies or just
Any
movies?
movies.
Movies, like anything.
Anything. Okay.
Let's do like top 3 or something.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
so hard.
Y'all
There's so
go
many good ones.
first.
Oh
I'm
my
still
gosh.
deciding.
Okay, I know that in no particular order, I know that one of my favorite movies of all time is this movie called The Fall, specifically the one by Tarsem. He did like The Cell, like Lee Pace is in it, and it's amazing. If you've never seen it, it's great. Another one that's a big favorite of mine is The Secret Garden.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically the one with Maggie Smith in it. There's like a couple adaptations. That's like my whole childhood. I love it so much. I'm trying to think of movies that I can watch like over and over and over and over again. There's so many good ones. I mean, those are good too. I don't know, they're my
Dressed as the
name or
Ghostbusters. That's
That's
hilarious.
super random.
It's funny. I have a brother who likes to do top 5 lists. He's so funny. He's a surgeon. I love it. I'm talking about it at an AnimateCon, or GalaxyCon. But and I never get my list together. And I always say I'm going to get my list together. And here we are. I'm like, dang it, Todd was right. I should have got my list. There's so many.
Yeah,
It's like
hundreds of
picking
movies that I love.
so many. I know for me. So if I want to, did you have more on your list?
Oh,
sorry.
I'm thinking still.
Okay.
Trying to narrow it down.
If I want to just have like mindless fun and entertainment, I would love to hang out with like Cole Porter and F. Scott Fitzgerald. So there's a movie called Midnight in Paris, where at night Owen Wilson goes and hangs out with like Edith Piaf and all these greats. So I love that film, and it's in Paris, and I love that place. So I love to watch that. Right now, we have Moana going on in my house 24/7, and I'm in for it. I love some Lin-Manuel Miranda music, and I love that Disney film. And I think there's a live action coming out. So, but I love that. And gosh, and then if you talk about like, maybe art house films that really had like an effect on you, to just beyond being entertained, that really made you think. I mean, it's pretty basic film school 101, but like Fellini's 8.5 is a movie that will just push on what you think about film, and probably because it's also set in Italy, I'm down for that.
I think I got mine.
Okay, do it.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh.
That is, yeah. I love the animation with that one so much. Ratatouille. I do love Ratatouille.
Oh, we do too.
Like, I feel like that's such an underrated Pixar film.
It is so good.
Like, guys.
And the
it's
ride
so
is
good.
great.
Yes. Oh, I have not been on the ride, but now I need
Oh,
to
World
go.
in Florida. There's a ride, Dawn.
Oh,
You'll love it. You're a mouse.
I get to be a mouse.
Or rat, excuse me. Rat, not a mouse.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Sorry.
And then the last one, which I'm like, oh, great, another George Clooney film. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? I love that movie so much.
Ooh, I'm a huge Disney fan, but I'm going to leave those off the list. I did think of my third favorite, The Birdcage.
Oh, that's a great.
Yeah, with Nathan Lane and Robin Williams.
Bringing it back to Robin Williams.
And Robin Williams.
There you go.
Williams, yep.
How could we not say Princess Bride, right? I think that was the one movie I learned every single word of and could quote.
Inconceivable.
Yes.
I
I
don't
watched
think we're
it
using that
when
right.
I had the flu when I was younger. I remember
Yeah.
watching it, and you can memorize that movie pretty quickly.
All right, well, thank you for your question. Thank everyone here for your questions. If you didn't get a
you.
chance, go ahead and visit them. They'll be down at their tables for the rest of the weekend. One more time, a big round of applause for Alexis Tipton, Dawn Bennett, and, of course, Stephanie Young.
Thanks, guys.